this opinion makes a distinction that the phrasing of the letter is whoever claims mushahada, that is seeing the Imam and recognizing it is the Imam, we can't accept that. But if they saw the Imam, they had a chat with the Imam guided them, and then later on they realized, oh, it was him, then it's not a problem. What do you think of that position?
Well, I mean, definitely seeing the Imam without recognizing him
Happens for everyone.
it happens for everyone. So there's
But recognizing
there's
after.
plenty of hadith that we have about that.
That's right.
At Hajj, even there's hadith that we say that every mu'min will meet the Imam
That's right.
during their life.
But not
But
all
not
of
know
us,
who it is.
like, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but this is saying that those people that
You might figure it out later.
you might figure it out later.
That's possible. Yeah. So I don't have an issue with that. There's some opinions though that I feel are stretching it a bit. Right? So
I
there's
feel
some-
like even this is stretching it
You think?
because, I mean, we have to really see if Arabs do make a distinction between mushahad and ru'ya,
Mhm.
firstly, and because it's all based on that. If an Arab speaker really uses these terms in that sense, then okay, we accept this position. But, I mean, it depends on that. The other one I really liked, which I didn't think was a stretch, was the fact that the Imam says, whoever claims to have met me, then he's a liar. So the Imam is not rejecting meeting him, but he's just telling us what to do.
Hmm.
In the sense that, imagine, instead of saying he's a liar and don't take his word for it, the Imam said, whoever claims to see me, then take his word. We already have a lot of problem with people claiming to see the Imam, getting money from people, claiming some sort of authority, controlling people's lives. Now, if the Imam has said something like this and people are able to, abuse people's love, the Shia's love for the Imam. Now imagine if he said the opposite, that whoever sees me, then yeah, he's seen me. There will be a lot of chaos, because tomorrow everyone, every person who, they feel like they saw the Imam, they're going to come, oh, that was definitely the Imam. And they have this riwayah to back them. So the way this interpretation of the riwayah is, the Imam has said this to prevent chaos in the future, and it matches the wording. Whoever claims that he has seen me, I don't care if he's seen me or not, your duty is to refute that. And I like that. I feel like it goes with the general, because a lie is attributed to a claim. You don't say the seeing was a lie, the meeting was a lie. It doesn't really, or iftara in particular, attributing something, is about a statement, about a claim. So I thought that was, out of the different interpretations, I thought that was a relatively strong one. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I think definitely there's a danger of people claiming to be in contact with the Imam and then trying to misuse people and take advantage of people. Even the article that you sent me from Ayatollah Karani's son. Did you read the story he mentioned?
It was too long.
So there's a story, some guy in Tehran, Irfanian, I think was his name, if I remember. This guy, he claimed that he prayed behind Imam Zaman alayhi salam 3 times in the day, at Fajr, Zuhr, and Maghrib. And he prayed behind him, and he had meetings with the Imam, and the Imam was guiding him. So he got like a little cult following of people, and they went to Ayatollah Fazl Karani when he was alive, may Allah reward him for all of his efforts, and tried to meet with him. Now Ayatollah Fazl's son was there, and he said, look, what do you want to meet with my dad about? They said, it's something I can't tell you, it's private. And he's like, no, you're not going to meet him unless you tell me. So like he's the door to his father, I guess. And they told him, look, so-and-so, we're sent by so-and-so who prays behind the Imam 3 times a day, and he's told us to come and tell your father something. So he's like, what are you talking about? You guys are crazy. Well, what do you want to tell my dad? And I think it was like, just tell him salam and remember that night that it was very stormy, right? Like some little trick or whatever. So he goes and he tells his dad, the Marja, Ayatollah Fazlur Qurani, and his dad like gives the answer. Next day they come and get the answer from his son, and basically his answer was, look, you guys beware, basically run away from this guy, he's lying to you. And there were many stormy nights in my life, and I don't have any memories from any of them. So like he was just trying to throw something random out there that maybe someone had a connection to, and then it could grab him. So it's a common tool that people who try to take advantage of others use. But yeah, so that's one of the dangers, is people using a connection to the imam to misguide and take advantage of people, right? And that's what this hadith is definitely trying to protect from. Now,
can I mention a story in line with what you said? I remembered from Imam Khomeini, rahmatullahi alayh, someone apparently similar claim. They said there is someone claiming to have seen the Imam and Imam Mahdi, and Imam Khomeini said, okay, no problem. I have two questions. If you can answer these two questions, then we submit to him. I've lost my glasses since the morning. Tell me where they are. And I've been stuck on a philosophical issue for a while. Tell me the answer to this problem. If he's able to answer these things, then I'll follow him as well.
Yes, but what you said, so I feel definitely, look, if someone was to meet with the imam, right, in a private meeting where the imam comes to him and sits down and is giving him some form of guidance, right? Let's say that this is a possibility. Now, the person who sat down with the imam, he's not going to go out and give a speech, hey guys, I was with Imam Zaman yesterday and he told me this, so I'm telling you that. Like, he's not going to say that, right? So anyone who comes out and says that he has contact with the imam, that's fishy, right? Any of these ulama that these stories are coming out, they're either of that version where I didn't know it was Imam, and then wow, it is, later on I come to this realization. But none of them are saying, yeah, I have this. I hold meetings with Imam every Tuesday morning, and we discuss these issues, right?
Have a coffee.
Yeah, like anyone who does that, definitely you got to run away from him. And you're right, like that type of person would be lying. But I don't know. That's a good one. I like that. There are some interpretations of the word mushahada that I feel have maybe stretch it a little bit. So I think that the ulama who are trying to explain it in these ways are trying to say that yes, you can meet with the imam. There's all these stories that we have. There's all of this evidence. So therefore we have to explain this tradition in a way that lines up with these. I feel that that's what they're trying to do. So one of them is saying that mushahadeh means zuhur, means the imam's reappearance. But that's definitely not what it means. Like it doesn't even make sense with the sentence. Another one is saying that
they saw that the imam is
reappeared.
Oh, like
is reappearing. And like, wait, he's not.
He's not here tomorrow.
But another one is that I'm seeing him in the sense that I'm his specific representative.
Yes.
Right? So I see the imam. I have meetings with the imam not as a normal person, but as the imam's direct representative. And this is when they're lying. But if they have meetings with the imam and they're not claiming to be a direct representative of the imam, then that's okay. And I feel that that's a stretch. Although you could argue what direct representative means, right? Like, does it mean that you're in charge of the whole world, or just whatever the imam told you in this meeting, he's using you as his representative to convey that point, right? So the scope of representation could be different, but still saying that you're a representative of the imam, I feel would be an issue. So if any of our Muraja, for instance, said, just to let you know, I'm a direct representative of Imam Zaman alayhi salam, I think that would be enough to reject him and not follow him anymore.
And what's the other form of being, like what other way could you represent him? Like if someone claims that he sees him, is he going to say, I meet him regularly, but I'm not a representative? Is he going to claim some authority from him? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Oh.
So like you could meet, like there could be one person who is such a, so close to God and is so spiritual that the Imam enjoys spending time with him, but he's not using him as his representative. He's just sitting down and making a dua with him or something.
Having a coffee.
Having something like that, where you could say that no, this isn't, a relationship of representation. It's just a relationship of believers, and that's different.
Yeah,
right?
I like that.
But most people would claim authority, like people who are trying to say that they meet the Imam would also try to use that to get authority somehow. So if the person's not doing that,
it's not bad. I think the author of Bihar al-Anwar, Allama Muhammad Baqir al-Majlisi, has mentioned this as a possibility. And his argument is, look who the letter's being written to. It's being written to the fourth representative. And look at the content of the letter, the whole atmosphere of the letter. He's telling him, you're going to pass away, don't appoint anyone after yourself, the great occultation is beginning. And then he says, whoever claims to see me, then he's a liar. In extension of what he mentioned previously, it's perhaps easy to see how one would interpret mushahada as representation, as attorney, as being his agent. So it's not as far-fetched. And I feel like even Sheikh Safiq al-Bayagani in Muntakhab al-Athar, who by the way currently is our oldest marja, 102 years old, mashallah, he also I think has this opinion as well. It's not, I feel it has some relative strength, this opinion, given the context of the letter, what's being talked in the letter.
There's another opinion that the author of this article I'm reading thinks is the strongest.
Okay.
So what he does is he categorizes meetings with the Imam. We categorize them meetings during wakefulness, so not in dreams, and knowing who the Imam is, right? So we said there's many types of seeing the Imam, and your dream is one where no one's disputing that. It's possible. In real life is one, but you don't know that that's the Imam. That's possible. And then maybe later on you find out it was the Imam, and you come to a realization that it was Imam. That's possible. But we're talking about meeting with the Imam while we know it's the Imam, and we're talking to the Imam knowing who it is, right? So he divides that into two categories. He says one category is the Imam comes to you unexpectedly for whatever reason. It's his choice. There's no regular meeting that you have. And then the second one is you calling upon the Imam to come, right? Where you have this relationship with the Imam that you could summon him whenever you want to summon him, right? So this author is saying that's what is wrong. It's possible that the Imam comes to you and decides to meet with you and bless you with that meeting. But again, you wouldn't be going and saying, hey, the Imam came to my house yesterday, what an amazing day, right? He'll tell you most likely to keep it secret, and that's why you don't hear of these things. But what he rejects and what he says that this hadith is referring to is those who claim that they have the ability to summon the Imam and meet with him whenever they want. And then that again is pointing to authority. Because I could summon him and I could get his opinion on whatever we're discussing, or whatever, whatever point I want to make, whatever we should do as a community, whatever. It's basically trying to gain followers and leadership through that.
How would I saw that opinion? I think that's Ghayr Fazil's opinion.
Ghayr Fazil from that article that you wrote, or a different one?
I think he mentions that there as well. The marja that you were just speaking about, the stormy nights and the rain. But what's the dalil for it? How does it come out of that riwayah? It's hard to see.
I think it's not just, so obviously they have to be using other other kind of information.
Yeah.
To
The
try
only
to-
thing I could think of potentially is the term mushahada itself. In Arabic, when you use that pattern, when you use that rhythm, mushahada, mufa'ala, musabaqa. You know what's musabaqa? Everyone is familiar with musabaqa. It means to have a match, a challenge, right? And a challenge always includes two parties, and two parties willingly participating in that activity. Or muqatala, a war, two parties fighting each other. Mudaraba, it's a transaction, a sale transaction where two parties willingly participate. So when you say mushahada, it means two people willingly are participating in this event, that they had a say in this. And I think that's made like the only way we could substantiate that. That if the imam comes and sees you, then you didn't really have a choice in this. You didn't organize a meeting with him. But if you say, no, every Tuesday mornings we have some bagels and coffee and it's great, I wish you guys could join, but sorry, no, can't do, no plus ones. Then that would be a form of you willingly participating in that, and maybe comes from the word mushahada in the sense that two parties have to be, actively involved. Other than that, I don't really see how maybe there's other narrations that I didn't come across, but it's interesting to see how it's good to know that at least if there is, like Sheikh, this is the opinion we just talked about, was Sheikh Fadl the father. His son completely rejects all forms of seeing, and his son's not a nobody, like he's one of the common mudarrisin, the teachers in Qom, and he is very respected. He's like, this is my father's opinion, this is the opinion of others, but I'm not convinced, right? And that's his opinion, it has to be respected. And we have others who, reject it as well, that, we can't accept this. But majority of our scholars have accepted the possibility of seeing the imam, the stories are plenty, so on and so forth. But I just like, I like the different ways they had, looked into it. If you have no other points, maybe we can answer the questions. Yeah.
So first question, Salam. When Imam attended the Hajj, is it physically? Can the Imam hide from human eyes if he wants to? That's interesting. So there was actually a discussion about this, where when people are talking about meeting with the Imam, or when people are seeing the Imam, does he have the ability to disappear completely from the sight of people? Is that how it works? Or is it just people don't recognize him? That he's walking through the crowd and people don't recognize him, and this is why no one knows who he is in the scene. So there's different opinions, and some say it's always the first opinion where he's just invisible and he's walking through and no one can see him. I tend to think that that's a little strange, but they've made movies about it, but not with the Imam. Second one is that it's always physical, and third one, it's a combination. So he could become invisible if it's needed, but in normal cases he wouldn't be. I don't know. I tend to think that it's probably he's completely physical in a normal body, and he's just not recognized, right? Maybe Allah doesn't allow him to be recognized, but there's definitely a lot of miraculous stuff that goes around with the Imam because of his existence and the fact that he's in occultation. So it's possible either way, but just it doesn't sit well with my heart. All right, next one.
Did the last representative know the major occultation would begin before getting a letter from Imam Mahdi? I don't know. Do you have?
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't heard that he was aware, but I don't know.
What can be the problem with believing you can meet? Just on that earlier questions, we have reports from, I forgot which Imam, I think it was Imam Hadi or Imam Hassan al-Askari, where he talks about the ghaiba of the Imam, the occultation of the Imam, and that it will be for a period of time. So that the Imam will completely be going into an occultation and there will be no access to him. Yes, the theme, the motif was passed down by previous Imams as well, but whether this particular representative knew the date and the details, I don't think we have enough information. The letter the tone of the letter looks like he didn't know, because the Imam is informing him when it's going to happen. You want to go to the next one?
What can be the problem with believing you can meet the Imam, other than some people trying to take advantage of such a claim? So that's the main thing, is people taking advantage of that claim and trying to use a relationship with the Imam to, you know, get some kind of gain in this world. So that's pretty much everything. I was reading that through this tradition, like a principle is also formed that meeting with the Imam is a lie unless proven otherwise, kind of like asla tahayat or something. I don't know if we could use that to create a principle or not, but that was like an interesting discussion. And they use that, so for instance, the Green Island or the Bermuda Triangle that some people say that Imam is somewhere, right? Like all of this, we could say, well, unless there's some reason, like unless there's some evidence there, we just reject everything, right? So you reject all kinds of meetings with the Imam unless proven otherwise. But again, the reason would be because of, you know, the potential of misguidance. And
By the way, I think from what I remember reading earlier on, the Bermuda Triangle has those interesting, you know, things around it because of a lot of methane gas. So very anticlimactic. So yeah, there is no island there. Maybe our audience isn't familiar with this interesting idea that for a period of time, for a few years, and there were books actually written about this, they thought the Imam lives in some green, or it's called the Green Island, maybe Greenland. It's full of ice, not very green. He lives there, he has kids, everything's, you know, going good for him. But the people actually took that seriously. And then when they found out about Bermuda Triangle, they're like, oh, it's got to be there. He's definitely hanging out there. And then it's just methane gas, so there's nothing. Did anyone claim they met Imam Ajalallah Ta'ala Fadl Sharif when they were alive? Nothing comes to mind.
I can't remember any scholar sitting publicly saying that they met the Imam, because that would be totally rejected. Like the farhang or the culture of ulama would not accept that at all. Right? So there's no way that someone did that. Possible though, like there are stories of ulama who met the Imam that come out after their death, and it's not that they wrote like in a diary and people read the diary. It's that those that were very close to them are now relating these stories. So maybe in private gatherings or just amongst these special few people, they did discuss this.
I think Allama Hilli has written his, which is a famous one. I think he's written his, yeah, me too. If not, isn't this something to consider? Yeah, this is obviously something to consider, that the people that have seen the Imam, they don't want to use this as an opportunity to for some influence. Okay. The calamities they refer to has happened in a greater magnitude in previous decades. How can we be sure? I assume they're talking about the signs of...
There's another question relating to this.
Which?
I think it's the one.
The one we're just reading?
No, two down. There's a lot of talk and discussion these days that fire is close, the calamities.
Yeah, there is a lot of talk and discussion that these days the fire is closed, the calamities. Is that the one you just read?
Yeah, I read the one before it, but it was the same question.
Because I think one is like a reply to the other.
Okay. Yeah, well, this will require a separate discussion to talk about the signs of the reappearance, which, you know, on YouTube, there's a lot of sensationalization that happens around this. We don't know, you know, if we don't really go back to our primary sources, we won't really know what to look for. Some of these signs are mentioned. The point is to look for them. Otherwise, what's the point of mentioning a sign if we're just going to reject them? The scholars have categorized these signs in a few different ways, depending on the wording that has been used. And we have to look at, for example, one sign that's definitely going to happen is Khuruj al-Sufyani, an individual by the name of Sufyani, who, as you know, Abu Sufyan was the father of Muawiyah. So it will be someone who is most likely going to be in line with that ideology, who will make an uprising, who will make some influence, political influence in the region, and the Imam will also fight him. But before the Imam's reappearance, the Sufyani will rise. Now, people, when Daesh rose, were, transposing that on that this was Daesh. Now, we don't know for sure that if this was Daesh or not, but these are definitive signs of the Imam that we have to look for. But then there is a lot of other weaker narrations, and that, it's good for YouTube videos with all those, sensational music, background music. But other than that, I think maybe another time we can do a discussion on it to go in depth.
Yeah, we could look at the signs, inshallah. But one of the points that they made is that the signs were more prominent in previous generations than they are now. Since the occultation of the Imam, people have been saying the time is near because they've been recognizing signs. So it's not anything new. A lot of these signs do come about, but some of those stronger signs, the rise of the Sufyani, for instance, or the call that would be cured, or the murder of Nafs Zakiya, the swallowing of the army in Bayda. There's some the Hatmi ones. Those ones, I don't know, it'd be hard to argue that they occurred. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't hear a calling that the Imam's coming. So I think those are the ones to really look out for, and the other ones are just to kind of see the trend of, the world and how it's moving, and the more of those signs that come, the possibility of the reappearance becomes greater. Yeah, but it's not something for sure. All right, the return of a savior exists in many religions and all sects in Islam. How do all of these views relate to the Shia Islamic view?
So the idea of the savior obviously exists in many different faiths, and it's unanimous amongst all Muslims that they do believe in a savior, but the identity is very different when it comes. Our Sunni brothers think that he will be born, but we think obviously he's born and he's currently alive. They think he's a normal person. He's just, God helps him to restore balance and justice in the world. It's not. In fact, I think some of their scholars claim that he's not only an average Muslim, but like a less than average Muslim, and then has some sort of an awakening, and then God helps him, and then becomes Superman essentially. And so there are differences, of course.
Yeah, and then the other religions, obviously their savior was a prophet who came, but the concept of the necessity of a savior and the belief in a savior, what benefits it has for us, all of that would be very similar. There's a cat. Right. Is it possible to meet an Imam other than Imam Mahdi alayhi salam?
Physically or in a dream?
I mean, definitely, look, the meeting with him in a dream, yeah, why not? And then inshallah in the hereafter as well. Hopefully we get to meet them. But meeting them in person, right, where the Imam is sitting with you, seems unlikely.
Given they passed away.
Yeah, like I think that would be a big barrier. But also, we do believe in that after the Imam dies, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, other Imams will come back. So if we're alive at that time, inshallah, we would be able to. Yeah. Anything else?
I think the cat wants to take center stage. Maybe he has a question.
Apparently. Yeah.
All right, then I think we can close it if you have no other marks.
Inshallah, no worries. But I think it's one thing to take from it is just that desire and that love that we have to meet the Imam. Inshallah, it's fulfilled, and we'd be able to, I think at least if, according to many of these Maraja and many of these scholars, you would be able to see the Imam, but like not summon him. Like he might come and bless you and, you know, give you a salam or something, and that would be enough for me. But like I'm just trying to achieve that and trying to meet him, and that love and the longing that we have for him. Inshallah, we could increase that in our hearts, and inshallah, we could be blessed with and have the tawfiq with actually meeting him, even before the reappearance. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Thank you very much, Yeshua, for that very interesting and insightful discussion. Sheikh Ali, I think you really want a coffee, huh?
You can share.
Thank you all for coming out tonight, and to end tonight's program. I'd like to call upon Brother Amir to enlighten our hearts with verses of the Holy Quran with dua faraj. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma